ahead and talk The Housemaid by, oh my gosh, this is not by, this is, I didn't read this. The Housemaid, which is directed by Paul Feig, who directed many of the movie I've seen, starring the wonderful Amanda Seyfried, the questionable Sydney Sweeney, and also Brendan Skater, I think Skater is how you pronounce his name. And it follows this woman named Millie, played by Sydney Sweeney, as she gets a job by Nina Winchester at this famous house. Essentially, or not famous house, like this big house. She becomes a household nanny, maid type of person. Nina's on down her own luck. She's got a prison, and she is trying to figure out how to survive, and she doesn't believe she's gonna get the job. Then she gets the job, and she realizes that maybe she doesn't want the job, and maybe she wants out, and maybe she'll figure out a way to get out, or whatever it might be. And then all shit really starts to hit the fan. This turned really crazy. I did read the book beforehand, and I will have a whole video doing an analysis based on the movie to book adaptation over on my booktube channel, Gigo's Books Corner, in case you guys are curious. However, for this particular review, just talking about the movie, I went into this thinking everybody was horribly miscast, down to the child actor that they chose. I walked out of this movie thinking Enzo was probably not miscast, even though I thought he was, because I've never liked him in anything else. And he wasn't horrible here. Amanda Seyfried was miscast as Nina Winchester, in my opinion. However, she did such a phenomenal job. Like, 10 out of 10. Oh my god. Loved everything about this performance, that I didn't care. Sydney Sweeney was horribly miscast as Millie, and it does annoy me that, like, if they do a sequel, either way, I don't spoil anything. With Millie, because there was nothing behind her. You couldn't, like, Millie is such a, like, she's not a complex character in the book. However, she has a lot of thoughts and she has a lot of feelings, and I don't think, like, Sydney Sweeney really brought those out. Brendan Skater was fine in the role. However, I've seen him in other roles that I've enjoyed better, and I just don't know if he tackled the subject matter correctly. They also made some pretty big changes to the subject matter at the end of the movie, and one of those things was really shocking. My whole entire theory gasped. We were like, I can't believe they're doing this. And the fact it's, like, never talked about again, we're just assuming everything's fine, is absolutely crazy, but that is what they decided to do. But also, it, like, makes sense for the movie. This is much more serious than, like, A Simple Favor. However, it's still in the same lines of A Simple Favor, which also is directed by Paul Feig. He has a little sweet spot for these. I didn't watch A Simple Favor 2. Should I watch A Simple Favor 2 this year? Let me know in the comments. Alright, that being said, that's The Housemaid. I landed on a 4. I feel like it's a solid 4.